The worst part about graduation day isn't the uncomfortable heels or the mascara I know will run. It's the knowledge that in exactly 4 hours, my mother will try to destroy me. Again. My name is Violet, and I've spent 18 years making sure my daughter never feels the way Helen made me feel. Worthless, small, wrong. The irony? Today, Sophia graduates as valedictorian, and I can already hear Helen telling everyone how she saved her granddaughter from my influence. "Mom, you're doing that thing again," Sophia says, watching me grip the steering wheel too tight. We're parked outside Lincoln High School, where the morning sun makes everything look deceptively peaceful. That thing where you try to smile but your jaw keeps clenching. "Sorry, baby." I force my hands to relax, just nervous about seeing everyone. Grandma promised to behave. Sophia adjusts her graduation cap in the visor mirror, and Aunt Jessica said she'd run interference. I almost laugh. Jessica running interference is like a paper umbrella in a hurricane. She's been Helen's echo for so long, I'm not sure she remembers her own voice. "There they are," Sophia points through the windshield. My stomach drops. Helen stands near the school entrance in her signature pearls, holding court with Jessica and, my blood freezes, Stuart, her attorney. They're gathered around a professional photographer, all picture-perfect smiles and coordinated outfits. "Ready?" Sophia squeezes my hand. "Always ready for you, baby." We step out into the morning heat. Sophia's gown swishes as she walks, hiding the dress we spent months picking out. I follow a few steps behind, letting her lead the way to her grandmother. "There's my star." Helen's voice carries across the parking lot. She embraces Sophia, then immediately starts repositioning her for photos. "Jessica, fix her cap. Stuart, you should be on the left. Where's that photographer?" I hover at the edge of their circle, clutching my purse like a shield. Maybe if I stay quiet enough. "Mother," Helen's eyes cut to me like ice picks. "I thought we discussed this." "Discussed what?" My voice comes out steadier than I feel. "The family photos." She gestures dismissively. "We're doing immediate family first. You can wait." I am immediate family. Heat rises in my chest. I'm her mother. "Mom," Sophia starts, but Helen talks over her. "A mother who nearly lost custody. A mother who needed me to step in." Helen's voice rises, drawing attention from nearby families. "A mother who should be grateful we allow her any part in today at all." "Grandma, stop!" Sophia steps toward me, but Helen grabs her arm. "You're a disgrace to this family," Helen hisses at me. "Stay back where you belong." The photographer's camera clicks rapidly. Jessica studies her shoes. Stuart smirks slightly, and I realize this was planned. Another public humiliation, another reminder of my place. "Mom, don't go," Sophia calls as I turn away. But my feet are already moving, carrying me back toward the car where I can break down in private. That's when I hear it, the soft thud of paper hitting concrete. "What's this?" Helen's voice rings out behind me. I turn to see her bending to retrieve a thick envelope that had fallen from Sophia's gown. My heart stops when I see the addressing. "To Mom. Open when you're ready to know everything." Helen's perfectly manicured fingers are already tearing it open. Sophia makes no move to stop her, and something in my daughter's expression makes me pause mid-retreat. "What is this?" Helen's face drains of color as she pulls out the contents. "This can't be... Where did you get these?" "Mom," Sophia calls again, but this time she's looking straight at me. "I think you should stay for this part." The parking lot seems to hold its breath. Jessica steps closer to read over Helen's shoulder, and her hand flies to her mouth. Stuart's smirk vanishes. And there, in my daughter's eyes, I see something I've never seen before when facing Helen. Hope. "Read it," Sophia says quietly. "Read it all out loud, Grandma. Every single word." My feet root to the spot as Helen's hands begin to shake, and I realize that maybe, just maybe, this graduation day won't go according to her plan after all. Dear Mom, Helen's voice wavers as she reads. By the time you read this, I'll have graduated. But there's something you need to know about the day Grandma took me away. The morning sun feels too bright, too exposing as I watch my mother's perfectly composed facade crack. Other families mill around us, oblivious to the bomb about to detonate in our little circle. Skip to... Stuart starts, reaching for the letter, but Sophia cuts him off. Every word, Grandma. You wanted to be the center of attention. Now's your chance. Helen swallows hard. I found the papers in Grandma's study last month. The ones with your signature. Except it wasn't your signature, was it? I remember that day. I was only 3. But I remember you in the hospital. You weren't abandoning me like they said. You were fighting for your life. Jessica's hand drops from her mouth. What is she talking about, Mom? It's all lies, Helen snaps, but her hands shake harder. Keep reading, Sophia says quietly. Or I will. I had the signatures analyzed. Helen continues reading, her voice barely above a whisper now. 3 different experts confirmed it. Grandma forged Mom's name on the emergency custody papers while she was in intensive care. She told the court Mom had abandoned me, but I found the hospital records too. The photographer's camera has stopped clicking. Stuart pulls out his phone, fingers flying over the screen. You were in a coma for 6 days, Helen reads, and I feel my knees go weak. Sepsis from a complicated C-section, but Grandma told everyone you'd run off partying. She used those 6 days to take me away, to take everything away. Jesus Christ, Mom, Jessica whispers. There's more. Sophia reaches into the envelope and pulls out a stack of papers. The forensics reports, the hospital records, and this. She holds up an old photograph. I recognize it immediately, me holding newborn Sophia, still in my hospital gown, beaming despite the exhaustion. But it's the back of the photo that makes Helen stumble backward. Read it, Sophia insists. Helen turns the photo over. Forgive me, Dad, she reads, then drops the photo like it burns. Grandpa knew, Sophia says into the silence. He knew what you did, and he kept this photo as proof. I found it hidden in his study after he died. You went through your grandfather's private things? Helen tries to rally, but her voice holds no power now. Like you went through Mom's medical records? Sophia steps closer to me. Like you went through her life, tearing out the parts that didn't fit your story? I did what was best for this family. Helen's voice rises hysterically. Your mother was unstable. She was dying, Sophia shouts, and heads turn all across the parking lot. She was fighting to survive, and you used it to steal me away, to force her to live by your rules if she ever wanted to see me again. I find my voice at last. Helen, I say quietly. All these years, I thought I must have signed something during those days I couldn't remember. I thought I had failed somehow. You didn't fail anyone, Mom. Sophia takes my hand. But she did. And now everyone knows. Jessica picks up the fallen papers with trembling hands. The court dates, the custody hearings, it was all based on forged documents? Stuart knew, Sophia adds. Didn't you, Mr. Rogers? That's why you're here today. Damage control? Stuart's face has gone gray. He backs away, already pulling car keys from his pocket. This isn't happening, Helen says, but her carefully constructed world is crumbling around her. This isn't... I won't allow... You don't allow anything anymore, Grandma. Sophia's voice is steel. Not today, not ever again. A breeze catches the papers scattered on the ground, sending them dancing around Helen's feet like accusations. In the distance, the first bell rings, calling graduates to line up. I have to go get ready, Sophia says, hugging me tight. But Mom, there's one more envelope, the real family photos, the ones Grandma didn't want anyone to see. Taylor has them. She's waiting by the gym. As Sophia walks away, head high, Helen stands frozen among the scattered evidence of her crimes. Jessica kneels to gather the papers, reading each one with growing horror. And I turn toward the gym, toward Taylor and the truth, feeling lighter than I have in 18 years. Because finally, the story Helen wrote about me is being erased, and my daughter just helped me write the first page of a new one. Violet! Taylor's voice cuts through the chaos as I approach the gym. She's waving frantically, but her expression stops me cold. We've got another problem. Before I can ask what she means, I hear him. Where's my baby girl at? Where's my graduate? That voice. That fake, honey-smooth voice that disappeared 18 years ago, right after the last child support check bounced. I turn slowly to see Nasir striding across the parking lot like he owns it, wearing an expensive suit and that same charming smile that fooled me when I was 19. What the hell is he doing here? I grab Taylor's arm. Helen invited him. Taylor pulls me behind a column. I overheard her on the phone last week at the pre-graduation meeting. She's been planning this for months. Of course she has. Even with her own scheme exploding in her face, Helen managed to plant one last bomb. There's press here, Taylor whispers urgently. Local news, doing their annual graduation coverage. Helen tipped them off that the whole family would be reuniting for the valedictorian's big day. My stomach lurches. She's trying to rewrite the narrative, make it look like one big happy family, Taylor finishes. With you as the outsider. Again. Nasir's voice carries across the courtyard. Helen, Jessica, looking beautiful as always, ladies. I peer around the column to see him embracing my mother. My mother, who once called him trash and threatened to disown me for dating him. Now she's accepting his kiss on the cheek like they're old friends. Sophia's going to flip, I mutter. Already handled. Taylor grins. Chad texted her a warning. She's staying in the preparation room until the ceremony starts. Mom? Jessica appears beside us, making me jump. Her eyes are red. I had no idea about any of it. The hospital, the papers. Not now, Jess. But I need to. Later. I cut her off. Right now, I need those photos Sophia mentioned. Taylor pulls an envelope from her bag. Inside are pictures I haven't seen in years. Me and Sophia at her first steps, first day of school, dance recitals. Moments Helen claimed never happened because she'd confiscated and hidden every photo that showed me as a present. Loving mother. There's more, Taylor says. I recorded Helen and Stuart yesterday. Listen. She holds up her phone, plays a clip. The press will eat it up, Helen's voice says. Prodigal father returns, family reunited. It'll overshadow any drama Violet tries to create. And if she objects, Stuart asks, she'll look bitter and unstable, exactly like we need her to look. Jessica covers her mouth. Oh, God. Ladies! Nasir's voice booms behind us. We whirl to face him. Violet, baby, you're looking fine as ever. Don't. My voice shakes with rage. Don't you dare. Now, is that any way to greet your daughter's father? On her big day? My daughter? I step forward. You mean the one whose hospital bills you never paid? Whose college fund you drained before she could walk? That daughter? His smile doesn't waver. Ancient history, baby. I'm here now. Because Helen paid you to be. The words hit like slaps. How much did she offer? Must have been good to get you to play happy families after 18 years. A muscle twitches in his jaw. You always were paranoid. Actually, Jessica steps forward holding up her phone. I just found the transfer records. Mom's not as careful with her passwords as she thinks. $50,000, Nasir? That's what my niece's graduation day cost? His smile cracks slightly. Behind him, I see Helen approaching, steel in her eyes. Enough, she snaps. Nasir is here to support his daughter. The press is waiting. We're doing family photos in 10 minutes and you will all behave. No. The word comes out calm, surprising even me. No more photos, no more lies. You don't make the rules here, Helen hisses. Actually, Taylor steps forward, phone raised. I think the truth makes the rules now, and I've got 18 years of it recorded right here. The second bell rings. 5 minutes until the ceremony. Helen's face contorts with rage and fear. Nasir backs away, already eyeing the exits. And me? I straighten my spine and meet my mother's gaze. You wanted a show for the press, Helen? Fine, let's give them one. But this time, we're telling my version of the story. The look of panic that crosses her face tells me she finally understands. She's not the only one who knows how to plan ahead. And my revenge is just getting started. The auditorium buzzes with excitement as families file in, but I'm focused on Taylor's urgent whisper. Stuart left his briefcase in his car, and I have his spare key. How did you? He always leaves it with the school office during events, in case of legal emergencies. She dangles the key. Being the PTA secretary has its perks. My heart races. If Helen and Nasir's arrangement is documented, it'll be in there, along with everything else he's helped her hide. I glance at the stage where Sophia and the other graduates are lining up. We have 20 minutes before the ceremony starts. Go, Jessica says, appearing beside us. I'll cover for you if anyone asks. Taylor and I slip out the side door, speed walking to the faculty parking lot. Stuart's BMW sits alone in the corner, gleaming in the late morning sun. Keep watch, I tell Taylor, taking the key with trembling fingers. The briefcase sits on the back seat. Inside, folders upon folders of legal documents, all meticulously labeled. My hands shake as I flip through them. Oh my God, I breathe, pulling out a thick file marked Marshall Custody Agreement. What is it? Taylor hisses from her lookout position. The original custody papers, the ones with the forged signatures. I scan the pages rapidly. And emails. Dozens of them, between Helen and Stuart, planning the whole thing while I was in the hospital. Take photos, quick! My phone clicks frantically as I capture page after damning page. Then I spot another folder, Marshall Trust Fund. No way, I whisper, opening it. The documents inside make my blood boil. Bank statements showing systematic withdrawals from Sophia's trust fund, the one my father set up before he died. Money transferred to offshore accounts under Helen's name. They stole from her, I tell Taylor. Helen and Stuart have been stealing from Sophia's inheritance for years. Got it all? Taylor asks urgently. Because we've got company. Stuart's heading this way. I snap the last photos, close the briefcase, and slide out of the car just as Stuart rounds the corner. He stops short, face darkening. What are you doing at my car? Looking for my daughter's father, I say smoothly. Since you and Helen arranged his surprise appearance, I figured you'd know where he slithered off to. His eyes narrow. Whatever you think you know, I know enough. I hold up my phone, and now I have proof. The blood drains from his face. Those documents are confidential. Like the trust fund withdrawals or the custody fraud. You broke into my car, he sputters. That's criminal. So is forging signatures, Taylor cuts in, and embezzlement, and conspiracy to commit fraud. Want me to go on? Inside the building, music starts playing. The ceremony is beginning. Stuart's face twists with panic. Helen will never let you. Helen doesn't control this anymore. I step closer. But please, try to stop me. I'm sure the press would love to hear why a prominent attorney is helping a grandmother steal from her granddaughter's trust fund. He backs away, pulls out his phone with shaking hands. Go ahead, I say. Call her. Tell her I know everything. Tell her I have proof of every lie, every theft, every manipulation. Tell her it's over. We leave him there, practically running back to the auditorium. Inside, the principal is making opening remarks as we slip into our seats. Did you get what we needed? Jessica whispers. I nod, still trembling with adrenaline and rage. Everything. And now, the principal's voice booms, I am honored to introduce our valedictorian, Sophia Marshall. My daughter takes the stage, radiant in her cap and gown. Helen sits in the front row, rigid with fury as she watches Stuart slip in late, shaking his head at her questioning look. My speech today, Sophia begins, is about truth, about the stories we tell ourselves and the ones others try to tell about us. Her eyes find mine in the crowd, and I see the same steel there that I've had to forge in myself. But mostly, she continues, it's about mothers who hold their daughters' hands in the dark when no one's watching or applauding, who fight battles no one sees so their children can stand in the light. Helen starts to rise, but Jessica grabs her arm, and I sit straight in my seat, letting my daughter's words wash over me like healing rain. The moment the ceremony ends, Helen makes her move. She intercepts me in the crowded hallway, grabbing my arm with fingers like talons. "Whatever you think you found in Stuart's car," she hisses, "it won't hold up. You have no idea who you're dealing with." I shake off her grip. Actually, I do. I'm dealing with a thief who stole from her own granddaughter. "How dare you?" $300,000, Helen. I pull up the photos on my phone. "That's how much you and Stuart siphoned from Sophia's trust fund. Did you really think Dad wouldn't have safeguards in place?" Her face goes white. Behind her, Jessica gasps. "Mom, you stole from Sophia?" "I protected that money," Helen snaps. "Your sister would have wasted it all on what?" I step closer. "On raising her daughter? On surviving after you forged documents to steal my custody rights? I saved that child from you." The slap echoes through the hallway before I even realize I've moved. Helen staggers back, hand to her cheek, as phones come up all around us. "You saved no one," I say, my voice carrying in the sudden silence. "You stole my daughter, my money, my reputation. You tried to steal my entire life." "Security!" Helen shouts, but no one moves. "The security team is busy," Taylor says, appearing beside me, "dealing with a man who tried to crash the ceremony. What was his name again? Oh, right, Nasir. Seems someone tipped them off about his outstanding warrants." Helen's eyes dart around wildly. "Stuart! Where's Stuart?" "Probably shredding files," I say coldly. "But it's too late. Everything's already been sent to the State Bar Association and the police." "You're lying. Like you lied to the courts?" Jessica steps forward. "Like you lied to all of us about Violet abandoning Sophia?" "I did what had to be done." Helen's voice rises hysterically. "She was ruining everything, dating that criminal, embarrassing our family." "The only embarrassment here is you, Grandma." Sophia's voice cuts through the chaos. She stands in her graduation gown, Chad beside her with his phone recording everything. "Sophia, darling," Helen tries to smile. "This is all a misunderstanding. Save it." Sophia holds up a USB drive. "I have the original trust fund documents, the ones Great-Uncle Marcus gave me before he died, the ones showing you as executor, with very specific rules about how the money could be used." Helen lunges for the drive. I step between them, but I'm not fast enough. Her hand connects with my face, hard enough to snap my head back. Gasps and shouts erupt around us. Phone cameras flash. And then, through the ringing in my ears, I hear a familiar voice. "Mrs. Marshall? I'm Detective Rivera. We'd like to ask you some questions about certain financial discrepancies." Two police officers stand in the hallway. Behind them, Stuart is being led out in handcuffs, his face ashen. "This is ridiculous," Helen sputters. "I am a respected member of this community." "Who just assaulted someone on camera?" The detective cuts in. "Please put your hands behind your back." As they lead Helen away, her perfectly coiffed hair falling in her face, Jessica touches my arm gently. "I'm so sorry," she whispers. "I should have seen it, should have believed you." "Later," I say, turning to Sophia. "Right now, I want to celebrate my daughter's graduation." "Actually," Sophia grins, "I have a better idea. Remember that parent support group you always wanted to start? The one Grandma said would air our dirty laundry?" I nod, confused. Well, the local news reporter who just filmed everything? She wants to interview you about helping other mothers fight parental alienation and financial abuse. Taylor squeezes my hand. Ready to tell your story? I look around at the crowd of witnesses, at my daughter's proud face, at Jessica's tearful smile, at the empty space where Helen's shadow used to loom. Yes, I say firmly. I think it's finally time. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't just exposing the truth, it's using that truth to help others find their own voice. You're sure about this? Taylor asks as we pull up to her house that evening. Cars line the street. Jessica's, Chad's, even some of Sophia's teachers who witnessed everything. Everyone needs to know the whole truth, I say. No more hiding. Inside, Taylor's living room has been transformed. A projector screen hangs on one wall, chairs arranged in a semicircle. Sophia sits with her laptop, organizing the evidence we've gathered. Ready? She asks as people file in. I nod, gripping the remote. The first slide appears. A hospital photo of me in ICU, tubes everywhere, dated the day Helen took custody. This is where it started, I tell the silent room. Or rather, where Helen's biggest lie began. Click. The forged custody documents. Notice the signature date, Sophia points out. The same day Mom was in a coma. Grandma didn't even wait for her to wake up. Jessica makes a choked sound from her seat. Click. Bank statements, trust fund transfers, emails between Helen and Stuart plotting each move. She didn't just steal my daughter, I say. She stole her future. $300,000 siphoned off to offshore accounts. That's not all, a new voice says from the doorway. Everyone turns to see a woman in a business suit. I'm Linda from the State Banking Commission. We've been investigating Helen's charity foundation for months. What charity foundation? Jessica asks. Linda steps forward. The Marshall Family Foundation for Children. Your mother's been using it to launder money for years, including funds stolen from other families in similar situations. The room erupts in whispers. Sophia pulls up new documents on screen, tax records, foundation paperwork. There are at least 12 other cases, Linda continues, all following the same pattern. Vulnerable parents, custody battles, missing trust funds. Jesus Christ, Jessica whispers. How did none of us see it? Because she was careful, Taylor says. She picked targets who were already isolated, already struggling. People she could discredit easily. A teacher raises her hand. She tried to block Sophia's academic awards 3 times, said there were family stability concerns. She tried to stop me from attending college visits too, Sophia adds. Said Mom's presence would disrupt the family image. Click. Security footage from the school parking lot today. Helen slapping me, the police leading her away. The DA is pressing charges, Linda says. But we need witnesses, people willing to speak up. I'll do it, Jessica stands. I'll testify about everything I saw, everything I ignored. Me too, Chad says, holding Sophia's hand. I have recordings of things she said at family events, threats she made. One by one, people volunteer. Teachers, school administrators, even some parents who'd witnessed Helen's behavior over the years. There's more, Taylor says quietly. She connects her phone to the speakers. Helen's voice fills the room. Of course I forged the signatures. That brat needed to be controlled. And if Violet hadn't been so stubborn, hadn't fought back, none of this would have happened. She made me do this. Recorded just last week, planning today's ambush. The room falls silent. Then Jessica starts to cry. All these years, she sobs. All these years I believed her lies about you, about everything. I move to comfort her, but Sophia beats me to it. Aunt Jessica, she says softly, you're a victim too. We all were. A knock at the door makes everyone jump. Linda opens it to reveal Detective Rivera. Sorry to interrupt, she says, but you should know. Stuart's talking, telling everything, and we found something else in Helen's house. She holds up a familiar leather book, my father's journal. He knew, I whisper, taking it with trembling hands. He knew what she was doing. Last entries dated the day before he died, the detective says. It's a full confession of everything he witnessed, and an apology to you. I open to the final page, read aloud. My dearest Violet, I was a coward. I watched Helen destroy you and said nothing. This journal is my testimony. Use it to reclaim everything she stole, and please someday, forgive me for my silence. Sophia hugs me as tears fall. Jessica joins us, then Taylor, then others, until I'm surrounded by support instead of shadows. Mom, Sophia whispers, we did it. We really did it. And in that moment, surrounded by truth and love and justice, I finally feel the last chains of Helen's control shatter completely. The school's hosting a do-over, Sophia announces the next morning, bouncing on my bed like she did when she was little. A real graduation celebration. No drama, no Helen, no fake family photos. I blink sleep from my eyes, checking my phone. The local news coverage is everywhere. Prominent socialite arrested for fraud and custody interference. Family foundation under investigation. Mother-daughter reunion reveals decades of abuse. Everyone's coming, Sophia continues. The whole class voted to do it. They said my real graduation speech got cut short anyway. Your real speech? She grins. The one I actually wrote, not the sanitized version Grandma's lawyers approved. The one about truth and karma and mothers who never stop fighting. 2 hours later, we're back at Lincoln High, but everything feels different. The morning sun hits the same parking lot where yesterday's battle began, but now it's filled with supportive faces. Over here, Taylor waves, standing next to a professional photographer. We're doing the real family photos now. Jessica joins us, wearing casual clothes instead of Helen's prescribed formal wear. Chad's parents bring flowers. Teachers gather around with genuine smiles. Wait, Sophia says, pulling something from her bag. One more thing. She hands me a small box. Inside is a delicate silver necklace with 2 intertwined hearts. I bought it with my first paycheck from tutoring, she explains. The money Grandma didn't know about. The life she couldn't control. It's perfect, I whisper, letting her fasten it around my neck. Okay, everyone, the photographer calls. Let's get the real valedictorian speech photos. Sophia takes the podium, radiant in her gown. This time there's no Helen to control the narrative, no Stuart to censor her words. Yesterday, she begins, I stood here and started to tell a story about truth. Today, I get to finish it. The crowd goes silent. We talk about family like it's something fixed, something we're born into and can't change. But real family? Real family is chosen. It's built on love, not control. On truth, not image. She looks directly at me. My mother taught me that. Every day through every battle she showed me what real strength looks like. Not the kind that tears others down to feel powerful, but the kind that stands up again and again, no matter how many times you're knocked down. Jessica squeezes my hand as tears fall. Yesterday wasn't just a graduation, Sophia continues. It was a liberation. From lies that bound us, from silence that suffocated us, from a woman who thought she owned our stories. She pulls out the envelope that started it all. This letter contained evidence of crimes, yes, but more importantly, it contained truth. And truth, once spoken, can never be locked away again. The photographer's camera clicks rapidly, capturing every moment. So today, we celebrate more than academic achievement. We celebrate breaking chains, finding voice, choosing love over fear, truth over pretense, real family over fake perfection. She looks out at the gathered crowd. To every person who's been told their truth doesn't matter, who's been silenced by someone else's power, your story matters, your voice matters, and there are people ready to stand with you when you speak. The applause is deafening. Teachers wipe tears, students cheer, even the principal looks moved. And Mom? Sophia's voice softens. Thank you for teaching me that the greatest revenge isn't violence or hatred. It's living well, loving fiercely, and telling your truth so loudly that no one can ever bury it again. I make my way to the podium as she finishes, and this time, no one stops me. No one tells me I don't belong. No one tries to push me into the shadows. I'm so proud of you, I whisper as I hug her. We did it together, she whispers back, like we always have. The photographer captures that moment, mother and daughter, holding each other in the sunlight, surrounded by real family, real love, real truth. And somewhere in a jail cell across town, Helen watches her empire of lies crumble on the morning news, powerless to stop the healing her hatred tried so hard to prevent. This, I realize as I hold my daughter, is what victory really feels like. Not the defeat of an enemy, but the triumph of truth. The victory of love over fear, of light over shadow, of real family over false control. The doorbell rings as I'm sorting through another box of recovered photos, memories Helen stole, now returned by the police. Mom, Sophia calls from upstairs. Can you get that? I'm still packing. I open the door to find Jessica, holding a familiar leather-bound book. Found another one of Dad's journals, she says, stepping inside. This one's from when you were in high school. We've been piecing together the truth, diary by diary, photo by photo, each revelation healing another wound. Have you seen the news? Jessica asks, settling on the couch. Helen's Foundation victims are filing a class action lawsuit. 17 families so far. 20, I correct. 3 more came forward this morning. The sound of footsteps on the stairs announces Sophia's arrival. Aunt Jessica, perfect timing. I need your opinion on something. She spreads papers across the coffee table, drafts of her first published piece, an essay about generational trauma and healing. Raised by the Reckoning. Jessica reads the title. Sophia, this is raw, honest, everything Grandma would hate? Sophia grins. That's the point. The doorbell rings again. This time it's Taylor, carrying boxes of brochures. Hot off the press, she announces, for the support group launch next week. I pick one up, trace the words. Breaking the Cycle, Support for Survivors of Family Financial Abuse and Parental Alienation. The waiting list is already 40 people long, Taylor says. Turns out you're not the only one Helen tried to destroy. But I am the one who stopped her, I say quietly. We stopped her, Sophia corrects, hugging me. All of us, together. Jessica picks up one of the recovered photos, me holding newborn Sophia. Remember what Helen said when this was taken? That you'd never be strong enough to be a real mother? I remember everything, I say. But now those memories don't hurt anymore. They just remind me how wrong she was. The front door opens again. We've all stopped locking it during the day. Another small freedom from Helen's reign of fear. Chad walks in with his laptop. You guys need to see this, he says, setting it up. Helen's sentencing hearing just ended. We gather around the screen, watching the news footage. Helen, in prison orange instead of designer clothes, being led away. Stuart, already serving his sentence, testifying against her. The judge's voice rings clear. 20 years for fraud, conspiracy, and financial exploitation. No possibility of parole. Look at her face, Sophia whispers. She still doesn't think she did anything wrong. That's why we keep telling our story, I say. So people like her can't hide anymore. Jessica stands suddenly. I almost forgot. Dad left something else for you. She pulls an envelope from her bag. Inside is a key and a deed. The beach house? I gasp. But Helen said she sold it years ago. Another lie, Jessica smiles. Dad put it in a trust for you and Sophia. Helen never knew. Sophia squeals, hugging her aunt. Our favorite place. Mom, remember the summers we snuck there when Grandma was in Europe? Those weren't accidents, Jessica admits. Dad gave me a key, said sometimes love means helping people steal back what was already theirs. Taylor raises her coffee mug. To stealing back our lives. To telling our truth, Sophia adds. To real family, Jessica says. I look around at these faces, my daughter, my sister, my best friend, even Chad, who fought for us when it mattered. This is what Helen never understood. Family isn't about control or image or power. To freedom, I say finally, and to everyone still fighting for theirs. Sophia picks up her essay draft. Want to hear how it ends? We nod, settling in to listen. Some people say living well is the best revenge, she reads. But I've learned it's not about revenge at all. It's about reclaiming your voice, your truth, your power. It's about building something so beautiful from the ashes of what tried to destroy you that even the shadows have to step back and admire the light. And sitting there, surrounded by love and truth and hard-won peace, I realize this isn't just an ending. It's a beginning.